Ever been in a meeting where someone says this feature isn't working and you're not sure if they're talking about a bug in a button or the entire business model having an issue? Welcome to product elevation. So, when we think about collaborating on a product team, one thing that we often need to be paying attention to is the precision of our language. And product elevation is a technique that we can use to be really, really precise and specific about what part of the product experience we are discussing or referring to. So I'm going to show you 5 different layers so we can start building our precision in our language here and avoiding misunderstandings and confusion when we're collaborating with our team. So let's come over here to Figma. The way I like to break up product elevation is into these 5 different levels. So we've got at the very, very bottom, sort of the foundation for everything, micro interactions. And these are the teeny tiny little polished details that happen within an experience that make it much more compelling and interactive and engaging. Then we have features, and this is sort of the atomic unit of our product experience here. So they encapsulate functionality and things that a user can do within the product experience. Stepping up a level, we have a feature set, and that's a combination of related features that work together to provide even more functionality to a user. Then we have the product experience itself. And this is sort of the whole kit and caboodle here. We've got all the feature sets put together, and this is the complete package that the product experience is offering. And then one layer beyond the product experience is the product ecosystem. And this is getting into a little bit more of service design, but is where does this product fit within the constellation of the organization, the company, and also the user's total experience as well. So that's one that we don't reach for too often, but it's really important to consider here. So why don't we go ahead and we'll look through the Figma interface and see if we can find different examples of all of these levels and elevations. So come over to this example here and we'll go ahead and we'll click on it. And already we're seeing lots of things, lots of different features and interactions. I like using typography though as a good example here. So if we come over here, notice how if I hover over this little select drop down, we have this background hover. And this is a great example of a micro interaction. It's so teeny, so tiny, but it adds such a nice affordance to the experience and letting us know, hey, this thing is clickable, you can interact with it. And they do this in a couple different places. Notice the difference though. This is sort of more of a button treatment with that little divider there. This is an input. We're going to have the micro interaction be around the border. So imagine you're talking to your developer. You're trying to communicate to them what you want this micro interaction to be like. You're going to go to them and say, for this micro interaction, we want the border to change on hover like this or like that. That's a much more specific thing to say than, hey, when someone hovers over this feature, we want them to, have something happen, right? That specificity, that precision in your language really empowers the developer and helps them understand what you're talking about. So that way you all can have a more productive conversation. Let's go ahead and look at maybe like a bigger feature here. So a bigger feature might be like any one of these drop downs. So we have like this justifying text here. Not a great example within here, but maybe the spacing here between our letters, right? This being able to increment it and decrement it, that is in itself sort of a complete feature within the typography feature set here. So the ability to change all of these different parameters of text, that would be something I would call a feature set. Each one of these individual drop downs and selections here, a really good example of a individual feature within the experience here. So if we come over here, we've got all these advanced settings that we can do. And we can come over here and do some more settings. These are all great. Letter casing is a feature of the typography feature set. Now, if you put all these feature sets together, things like typography, fill, stroke, appearance, layout, positioning, we're starting to build towards the overall product experience within Figma here. Now, Figma is it's a really interesting experience here because it's broken into 3 different sections. We kind of have our properties over here on the right. We've got our floating toolbar down here on the bottom, and then we have our layer list over here on the left-hand side. These are, you could consider them feature sets. They might on their team have something in between a feature set and a product. So this is meant to be a guide. It's not super, super prescriptive, just to give you some more precise language here. But maybe they've got something between product and feature set. That's okay. This is yours. Take it and work with it here. The important thing is that your team has a shared language that allows it to communicate much more precisely when you're talking about the different parts of your experience here. And then last but not least, we have the ecosystem. So Figma is a design tool. It fits within the constellation of design tools. So it might be partnering with or thinking about like Adobe as part of its ecosystem. There are other things within the ecosystem as well. Sketch is a really good example. And that sort of sits beyond the product experience, but within the user's context of where this product lives in its overall landscape here. So that was a really quick walkthrough. And again, kind of thinking back to that micro interaction example, these are tools that you can use to be more precise in your communication. So you're talking to your product manager, you're having a conversation about a feature set, and you can be much more specific in your language here. So that way everybody is on the same page. You're talking to your designer about a micro interaction, your developer about an individual feature. Calling those things out, having that shared vocabulary, that's what's going to level up your team and allow you to collaborate with a really concise and shared understanding. So go ahead, give it a try. I'd love to hear down in the comments below how it goes, and stay tuned for the next lesson.